long day for her out there in the mud and in the rain. So we'll just ask you a couple of questions, Christina. But at the end of your report, you talked about the fact that you've interviewed that resident there twice in the past for different reasons. So, man, rough life for all of those Silverado Canyon residents, right?
Yeah. You know, and it's always a pleasure to be with you, Daytona. It really, we're here for you. You got to keep in mind that when this place doesn't look like this, it really is an idyllic, beautiful place. But Silverado Canyon, and you can see, I mean, you've got these waterways that homes are built on waterways that were built. These bridges were built, you know, in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. And, you know, we've had the El Niños of 93 and 96, some pretty gnarly rain out here. And that was one of the times I interviewed him and he remembered me. In 2008, and he's always stayed. When you get to that point, some of the people will leave, like these people have left. But if you look over there, they're not leaving. They feel safe enough because they're high enough. And when you live in the canyon, and I live in a canyon, I something similar to this, not quite as hilly, but hilly enough that I've had to evacuate for fires and mud. You kind of, because once you leave, the problem is they're not going to let you back. They're not going to let you back until this is all over. So you have a generator in the house, you pack up the boots, you kind of, and you get ready to go. And that was the big thing about today, getting this cleared up. So if they have to get out, they will, because you hear it. Let me tell you, you hear this, the rumble before it hits you. Not much, but you know.
Yeah, and I mean, you've been there all day today. So what is it like? How are conditions right now in comparison to when you first got there? Just kind of take us through your day.
Well, you know what, when, you know, at 7 o'clock you had the big downpour. And then it kind of eased off, and we had on and off at noon, and that was a time you saw them cleaning and clearing and trying to tell people. Now we have a second storm coming in, and I don't know if you can even see the sky, but it's pretty beginning to look ominous. And a little while ago we actually had some hail, and it's fine if it's a little bit and it stops. You get more than 5-10 minutes of this stuff is so saturated. And that fire was just in December. We hadn't had enough rain for it to really pick up and build the kind of greenery that would hold back some of the mud. If they get the kind of rain they're talking about tonight, they're going to have some problems. Hopefully nothing deadly. There has been nobody injured, thank God. This has been not good, but it looks really, really ominous. But so far, the worst of it has been damage to the cars, to the vehicles, and damage to some of the porches, somebody's kitchen. But so far, no loss of life, no injuries, and they're hoping to keep it that way, which is why they ask people to leave, because they don't want it to get to the point that they have to use, you know, the search and rescue people to come in here and get people out.
I always find it so interesting.
It's gonna be a long night, no question.
I always find it so interesting talking to you about all of this, Christina, because you've covered so many of these events. You've covered events just there at Silverado. So what has been the most shocking thing that you've seen today? Personally, I saw in your story the cell phone video from the backyard of that person, seeing the mud tumble through. I'm just curious on your end.
Yeah. You know what, and people, as we now get across and talk to some of the people and climb up here, because we can't drive up here. We have to literally park our vehicle and climb up here with equipment. Man. As we're finding more of the people who are staying, and that's the good thing about knowing them. You actually go, oh, there's your video. How are you? It's good to see you again. There's more video. We're going to have some more tonight. Yeah, I mean, to see that coming at you, and that's the problem with the early morning storms. When you're at home overnight, and it's beginning to rain harder and harder, and the sun comes up. It's coming up at about 6:30 right now with the hour change, and you start hearing the rumble, and you turn on. That's what you see coming at you. By that point, you got to stay in your place. You can't try to drive out in that kind of mudslide. You literally have to climb to your roof. You notice that most of the videos from the second story of these homes, and that's something you learn about sheltering in place. You have a plan, just like we have a plan. Like if right now we started hearing rumbling, my camera person and I have talked. Either we're going to go up on that tree and climb up on that roof, and we've already practiced that, or if it comes in from this side, this is our wall. This is how you cover this stuff. After several years of having it come down, you literally make these plans before you try to go live out here. And pretty soon we're going to get out because it's going to get too dark anyway.
I mean, I've been...
It's always fun, but you know,
Sorry, continue.
You know, it's what we do.
Yes.
No, it's what we do. It's what we do. I mean, and that's how we bring you the pictures. Thank God for all the people with the cell phones now. That has changed. I like that change in our business.
I know.
Not to make it lighthearted, but yeah, you know, it's.
We've been seeing the behind the scenes of you and your photographer, so props to you guys trudging through all of that mud out there. We appreciate you giving us the very latest. And like you heard right before this, we've been tuning in to you guys' newscast, so we're getting the all the developing details just as you guys are giving them. So we see your hard work and we appreciate that. Thanks for being with us here on News Now, Christina, getting some warmth, hopefully.
Anytime, in a little while. Justin, you get credit there. That's my camera person.
Thank you,
Working hard
Justin.
here today. Thank you very much. You guys be safe out there.
Okay, we'll talk to you soon. And moving forward here, it looks like there's another live event, this one coming